and she called me, and she was having a real hard time with him at home.
Wow.
And she called me and sorry.
Oh, you're good.
In our phone call, she says, "Nelson, I don't know what to do." And I heard him breathing, and he was just gasping for breath. And I just, after we were done talking, I just hung up the phone and I threw it across the truck. I'm like, I was angry.
Yes.
And I'm like, God, this is not even an adult. This is a kid.
This is a child.
This is a child. This is somebody that if he's hurting or if he's crying, we should be able to pick him up and make things better for him.
And he can't even communicate what's
hurting. He
hurting.
can't communicate, and if we do pick him up, he hurts even more.
Wow.
And I was just like, God, if you're gonna kill him, do it now.
Wow.
I don't want to see my son suffering anymore.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and welcome to the podcast. Our guests today are not only good friends of ours for a long time, but Nelson is also the writer of a song that we've sang since 2009 by the name of, The Son's Cry, my God, why have you forsaken me? And it's a song that many of you are probably going to recognize. If you haven't heard it from Nelson, you may have heard it from us. And so Nelson and Amie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and thank you for being willing to come on and talk about this song. We've been, as I mentioned, we've been singing the song since about 2009, and it often gets requested. People come up and they ask if we could sing this song. And we don't do it every time, but we often try to do it. And it's always very, very interesting because I wouldn't say always, but I mean, a lot of times as we're singing the song, we see tears being shed out in the crowd because it is such a deep, powerful song. And so I want to talk about the song, but before we get to that, I'd like to hear just a little bit of your roots, Nelson, where you came from. I mean, who are you? Where did you come from?
Sure.
and what made you? Just a brief minute so people know who you are.
Sure. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, up in Union County, Buffalo Valley, Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania. I grew up in the Beachy Amish church.
Okay.
Went to a private school. No big amount of education or anything
Sure.
like that, so just
Sure.
basically an Amish kid growing up, basically.
Yep. So did your family sing a lot? Did you come up in a singing family at all?
Yeah, we actually did. Us children would sing together a lot.
Okay.
We never went anywhere with it except for I guess I'm the one that did.
Yeah.
He was the fourth of 11 children. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, and ironically enough, there was 6 boys and 6 girls.
Okay.
Well, there was one girl that passed away, so I say 11, but that's living.
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did do a lot of singing together, but I did not know any music notes or anything like that until I was like 16, 17 years old.
Gotcha.
So basically what I know is self-taught. I've never had any form of education on it or anything. So.
And so then you met Amie, because Amie is a Hoosier girl, grew up right here in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grew up with Margaret.
Yeah,
much.
exactly. Church pals from way back. So, The Son's Cry. I know in 2009 we were living here in Indiana, but we were getting ready to record an album. I think we were here, and we had the CD with the song on it. And we would drive to church, every Sunday, and it was nothing new for us to have the CD in, and our family would be singing along with it, and we just love the music, And this song came on, and it was just so powerful. And I remember calling you and saying, Nelson, is it okay if we, if we record this song? And you were kind enough to let us do so, and we did. And it's been it has just been a blessing. But I want to read a passage of scripture where I think this is coming out of. And then I would like for you to just kind of take us through the journey about where this song came from. So in Psalm 22, let me see. Yeah, Psalm 22, verse 1. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? O God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are holy. You are enthroned on the praises of Israel. In you our fathers trusted. They trusted, and you delivered them. To you they cried and were rescued. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. And so he just, like, you can feel the raw emotion of his journey. But yet, if I jump down to verse 14, it says, I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax, and is melted within my breast. And then my strength is dried up, and my tongue sticks to my jaws, and you lay me in the dust. And then verse 17, then I want you to take over here. I count all my bones. They stare and they gloat over me, and they divide my garments among me. And so obviously this is talking about Jesus now. And, Jesus quoted this in Matthew 27, when he was hanging on the cross. Yep. But it's coming back from this psalm right here. And so as we think of the listeners and, the people that are watching, perhaps in different ways, but everyone sooner or later can really identify with this kind of desperation that this is talking about, but you guys experienced that firsthand. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So, just going, off of what you said there, the one thing that I want to put out there is we tell our story, and there's excruciating moments in things that have happened. But one thing that I have learned is pain and hurt is hurt. And we don't take our pain and our hurt and measure it up to another person's.
Oh, sure.
Because we want people to understand that what we've experienced is not a level of something they have to experience in order to feel the hurt that we feel.
Exactly.
It possibly took that in order for God to get my attention because of who I am. I don't know.
Sure.
I learned pretty hard. But so we got married in 1999, in December of 1999. We had a Christmas wedding. We were the reason for that is in my life, I wanted to be involved in church, and I wanted to be a farmer.
Okay.
And so if you're a farmer, you're not going to want to have a summertime wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously God took us down a path that definitely was not being a farmer.
Sure.
So we got married in 99, December of 99, and our life was just pretty much normal, like anybody else would be, Probably I have a lot of energy, or I used to have a lot of energy, probably don't so much anymore. And my poor wife had a hard time keeping up with me, but we were pretty normal, depending what normal is.
Sure.
But we had two children, one daughter and one son, and life was just right. It was just normal. I mean, I was gaining offices in church. I was doing all the right things in religion and so forth, and I really was sincere. But one of the things that we have to remember, even when we're sincere, sometimes we get it wrong because Saul was sincerely killing the Christians. Yeah. And God says, no, I see your sincerity. I know what you're doing. I'm going to, knock you down here, and I'm going to make things right so that I can have your attention, so that I can have your energy in the right way. And many times people have to walk through something like that in order for God to use them in the way that He has designed, not what their previous thoughts or their ideas were of what they thought life would look like. Like a person would think, life would look like, and God says, no, here's how I want it. Yeah. So before that, and truly, I was inspired by your first album.
Oh wow!
When I was young, I would tell my cousins and a lot of my friends that someday they're going to hear me on the radio because all I want to do is sing. Yeah. And I had no education in it. I just sang. evenings when some of my friends would be out playing, cousins included, my age cousins, I would just go down to the basement, at a young age, and just
Sure.
grab the old Christian hymnal and start singing at the top
Yeah.
of my voice. It's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then when your first album came out, I go, well, this guy's living the dream that I wanted to do. I'm
Sure.
going to learn from this guy. And so I got to know you pretty good. We discussed a lot of things together and so
Yeah.
forth. And then I began penning some songs for my first album. And while this was happening, our second son, third child was born.
Yes.
And to explain really how, I'll try to explain it, and Amie can help me here, explain, the details of what happened through that whole thing. But everything was normal through the whole pregnancy and everything like that. Everything was normal. And on the day of that we thought the child was to be born, we did go to the hospital, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me whenever there's something wrong here, or put your thoughts into it as well. We went to the hospital, and Amie kept telling me there's just something wrong.
Yeah.
And I should have sprung into action immediately.
Gotcha.
At that point, I still didn't realize that women know better than men.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, we'll give it time, we'll just make sure, and she kept telling me something's wrong. We went
Something's
out.
not right.
The doctors sent us back out. They said, you're not ready yet,
No, they kept us, but even after they knew something wasn't right, they weren't in a big hurry.
Right.
So we trusted them, that
Wow.
we're going to just do what they say.
Yep.
And as time went on, they decided we do need to take him cesarean. And when he was born, he never cried. He was unconscious when he was born. So he had a very severe lack of oxygen in the womb.
So at some point they saw that there was
They did
something
see
was
that he
wrong,
was
and so they went
in
in,
distress, yes.
C-section,
Yeah.
and
So then they transferred him to another hospital. And so I didn't see him or hold him for almost 2 days, a day and a half. So that was really, really hard, because right away you want to hold your baby.
exactly.
So we did go to the other hospital, not knowing at that time the extent of his injuries. And so he was in that hospital 2 weeks. And during that time they were very caring, but they also gave us a lot of what I look back on as false hope. And I'm the type of person where I'd prefer to have just the...
Right up front.
I
Tell
would,
me how it is, kind
and
of
you
thing.
can deal with it.
Yeah.
But they said he is going to need a feeding tube. They don't think he can see. He wasn't able to suck or swallow. So that was... we started seeing this isn't going to be a recovery from this. We didn't
Okay.
feel. And so then they actually transferred him
Slide
again
I'm just
to
gonna
another
slide that
hospital, and they did the surgery there. And those doctors were a little bit different. They told us, "You're taking him home to die."
Oh wow.
They said
And
this
so
is
this was a few weeks in now, or just a couple days
about
now?
3 weeks into it.
About 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
And what was his name?
Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah.
So, over that time, it was a lot of emotions, trying to process what is this going to look
Exactly.
like, how long, we had no idea what his lifespan would be. Is it going to be years? Is it going to be weeks or months?
Wow.
And so we brought him home. But funny little story is the day that we were supposed to bring him home, I ended up with appendicitis in the Goshen Hospital, and he was in Fort Wayne. So poor Nelson had to bring him home by himself.
So Jordan was in Fort Wayne.
He was.
You guys were in Fort
Yeah.
Wayne. That you end up in Goshen, the hospital.
Yeah. So he brought him home by himself. First night he took care of him by himself. And we had all the equipment there we needed to take care of him. And I remember you all visited us
Yeah.
numerous times.
Yeah.
So he was very loved.
Yeah.
And he did thrive for about 6 months. He did very well.
Okay.
And then they told us if he gets a cold or if he gets sick, it could take him.
Yeah.
And he did get sick and went backwards from there.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Then it was during that time Nelson drove truck. So he was not able to be home every night. And so
Yeah.
that was also one of those hard things that kind of inspired some of where the song came from.
Yeah.
And so I would like to back up to when he was born. When they finally did decide to take him, And the reason I want to bring some of this up is because that's where the violation started against me as a man.
Okay.
So that's one of the big things in life that people experience is violations against themselves.
Okay.
And that's what drives people into a world of hurt and pain and confusion. But when he was born, I was really concerned. And the doctors came out and told me, yeah, there's a little bit of a problem, but he's going to be okay. You can come in and see him. And when I walked into there, my heart just, I just instinctively, I guess, as a father, knew we were in big trouble.
Yeah.
He was laying there just trying hard to breathe, and his stomach would suck all the way in. And just, I was like, we've got a problem. And I went into panic mode, and the doctors saw this happening. And so they took me back out, and they said, he is going to be okay. I said, he's not going to be okay. Mm-hmm. This is not normal for a baby to do this. Yeah, we're going to get some air flowing by him. He's going to be all right. And then, I don't know, was it an hour later, several hours later? I don't know. I was just pacing, and I was just like, oh, why are we not hearing? What is going on? And they had taken him C-section, so she was, in surgery coming out of that and so forth. And I walked into the pediatrician's office, and there lay my son on his desk. And my doctor, the pediatrician, had his feet, propped up on the table and was on the phone with South Bend saying, we have one here that's being somewhat unresponsive. And
so like one here, meaning like it was almost not human at this point, or no? That's not what you're saying?
No, I'm sorry, say that again.
Well, I mean, we have one here, as in...
We have one, like the child. We have the child.
Okay,
here.
okay.
And I kind of started flying into a rage here,
Sure.
that this is not okay. My child's on your desk, you got your feet propped up on the desk, and you're just casually telling them that you got one here that's not responding.
Wow.
And so he saw me coming in, he quickly corrected things and so forth. And I know that, this is part of their normal job, and so it wasn't meant to be offensive.
Right.
Or a violation against me, but that's kind of what it felt like a real violation.
Yeah.
That there was no urgency to help my son. That there was no urgency to help him to, get a good grip on life, if you will, have a chance at life. And so then we went to Fort Wayne, to South Bend, and he was transferred there, and we had a really good experience there. But like Amie said, they gave us kind of a false narrative, a false hope.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks into this, I went up to the doctor. I said, you keep telling me that the brain activity is not what's good for a child. I need the truth. Mm-hmm. I want to know, what we're getting into here and what we should or should not be doing practically.
Yeah.
And he kind of just let me know that's not really what we should be looking at. We should be looking at saving his life, period.
Okay.
And so there's discrepancies on that either way. And that's one of the things that we've learned is when people are having experiences with life-altering situations, we don't give our opinion because it can go both ways.
Yeah.
People do what they do in trauma and in these types of things because they think it's the best at that point in time.
Sure.
And so it's a thing we learned is you don't judge a person for what they're doing in these traumatic experiences.
Exactly.
You just let them walk through it and just be there.
There's a lot of sorting out that's happening.
Yes.
And everybody does what they feel is best in that time, and I think God directs them.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's easy when you're looking in from the outside to have opinions.
Yeah.
And that's something that we learn, that you do the best you can, and you don't necessarily, you can't let other people's opinions influence.
Yeah, and I think of Job, right? Job had 3 helpful friends that meant well, but people can swoop in, and they can even mean well.
Yeah.
But what they're saying isn't really helpful. What is the most helpful thing that people can do in a time like that?
Mostly just be there, and mostly just let them know you care. Just
love on them.
Yeah, love on them. There's no answers.
Yeah.
You can't give an answer that's going to be right.
Yeah.
We had one sweet brother or sister that gave us the right answer, and it was the right answer. It was the right thing to do, but it kind of upset us.
Sure.
You know, because it was like, why are you saying that?
Mm-hmm.
So probably the best thing to do is just be there and just love on them.
Yeah. Just be available,
Just
right?
be available. Yeah.
Just be available.
Yeah.
Like I find that sometimes, whenever I see somebody like that, I just feel prompted just to send a text.
Yeah.
Say, I'm thinking
Yep.
about you, praying for
Yep.
you. Because that whole thing of just being there, but not too close, not not too involved, giving space.
Right.
But once it becomes a 6-month journey, then what is that like? I mean, did you find that people moved on to other things, or did people walk with you kind of right to the end, or was?
We had some people that we still think of them to this day because they were constantly, bringing food or saying they, doing little things like that. That meant the world because he actually did live 10 and a half months then.
Okay, 10 and a half months. Okay.
And so during that time, we still talk about it. Do you remember when these people did this, or did we feel alone? I don't know that we necessarily did during that time. People did care.
Yeah.
The lonelier part would have been not really being able to get out much with him because we wanted to protect his health and not introduce him to a lot of germs. So we were at home a lot during that time. But we had a really good group of people that helped.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
You can be thankful for that.
And going with what she said, that we had to, give a lot of things up, and it was kind of lonely sometimes. She actually ended up missing her brother's wedding.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was back in Pennsylvania, and so we didn't go to that wedding because of yeah. So there was things we missed out on. But I want to go back here a little bit to another thing that you said. You said I went and got Jordan by myself, but I'd like to just even publicly here just say thank you to Alan and Janice Weaver. They're the ones that took me down and helped me pick him up. Yeah. They were a real blessing in that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So those are things we still talk about. Just you ask what can people do. Well, that was a small act of kindness.
Yeah.
And he just we'll take you down and we'll help you pick him up. And I sat in the back and took care of little Jordan while they did the driving. So and she was in the hospital.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I can imagine that during that time. I mean, as a mom, you had 2 children. Others. I mean, you had the first 2. Then you had Jordan, and there's stuff that's going on. There's probably constant needs around the clock. And you are having to be out on the road where I'm sure you want it to be at home. And there's just that battle that's just going on.
Yep.
And you can't really just come off the road and be at home like you wanted to probably.
Yeah.
There was probably some long dark nights along that period of time.
Absolutely.
Is out of some of that where the song came from?
Sure. I'll just explain where that came from. So for me, and our experience was a little bit different. She kicked into motherhood, where it was taking care of this little baby and making sure he's as well taken care of as possible. And a shout out to her. She's very good at it.
Sure.
I mean, she's the best there is.
Yeah.
Just very good at that kind of thing. Taking care of sick people and that type of thing. She's really gifted at it. And for me, it was more of a thing of watching my son suffer.
Yes.
And I was very young, very like I said in the beginning here, very energetic with life.
Sure.
Very energetic with Christian life.
Yeah.
I was not at that point yet. It meant more to me to be walking in a good spiritual place, I guess you could say, more than anything else in the world. That's what mattered to me. I felt like I had a good relationship with God, and I could give some of the experiences we had, but that's not what we're really here for. But through that thing, I started just, God, why are you letting this happen to me?
Yeah.
Really, why me?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember when we lived there in Millersburg, you came over and he was laying there, and he was kind of suffering that night. And you asked me, you said, Nelson, if I were to pray for healing right now, do you have the faith that he would be healed? And I just took a while, because at one point in time I would have, but I was running out of faith.
Yeah.
And I just looked at you and said, no, Amos, I don't think I would.
Wow.
And I was just, there was no bitterness or anything at that point in time.
Yeah.
Just a, a father-son relationship between me and God, I would feel like.
Yeah.
And as time went on, I did get busy on the truck again. I had a very understanding boss. I mean, he was really, really good at giving me off whenever I wanted off and so forth. I mean, he was really good at it. I feel I was very blessed at that time to have a man like him.
Yeah.
That very aggressive in life, very aggressive with business, and yet in our needy times, he was like, hey, you know what? It's okay, just go home. Very thankful for that. But I was just very frustrated that it seemed like God wasn't hearing me, you know, and I was going, why would you let my son suffer?
Yeah.
And there's two songs that kind of got born out of this. It's The Broken Heart and The Son's Cry. And I remember one night, I was going out across Highway 30 in Ohio. And this was later on when he was, probably here 8 months or so by then. I don't know exactly what the dates were. But I was talking to God about it, and I was just asking him why this is going on.
Yeah.
And she called me, and she was having a real hard time with him at home.
Wow.
And she called me, and sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'll just explain a little bit what it was when he couldn't suck or swallow.
Oh.
And so if he'd get phlegm in his throat or whatever, we weren't sure always if he was going to be able to recover from that. So we'd have to work with him. And then he had a lot of times where his breathing wasn't great. And I think now, this has been 20 years, they'd probably have more things that we could do for him than what we knew of back then.
Yeah.
But we did the best we knew. And I would call him sometimes and just say, I don't know what to do. Like,
Wow.
And so this was like at midnight or 1 o'clock or something like that, and I'm here going east on 30 away from home to get a load, and
I cannot imagine.
and
Like
she
there's
just-
nothing that would tear you apart more than
Yeah.
that very thing. Like
Yeah.
here you are going away from
Yep.
the
Yep.
very people that need you the most.
Yeah.
Yep. And in our phone call, she says, Nelson, I don't know what to do. And I heard him breathing, and he was just gasping for breath. And I just, after we were done talking, I just hung up the phone and I threw it across the truck. I'm
Yeah.
like, I was angry.
Yes.
And I'm like, God, this is not even an adult. This is a kid.
This is a child.
This
Lord.
is a child. This is somebody that if he's hurting or if he's crying, we should be able to pick him up and make things better for him.
And he can't even communicate
He
what's
can't
hurting.
communicate, and if we do pick him up, he hurts even more.
Wow.
And I was just like, God,
Yeah.
if you're gonna kill him, do it now.
Wow.
I don't want to see my son suffering anymore. And I started kind of accusing God, if you will.
Sure.
And I said, yeah, you just have no idea. You say you've watched it all, and you've seen it all, and you've created it all. You have no idea. And he rebuked me, and that's where this song came from.
Did he take you back to this?
He took me back to this.
Wow.
He goes, I do know.
Yes.
I do know. Oh, the difference, Nelson? I could have saved my son, and I didn't. My God, why have you forsaken me? He stood there. The courts of heaven were watching.
Yeah.
And this man was stretched out on the cross, the Son of God. And he goes, my God, why have you forsaken me? And the Father heart of God wanted to reach out and take those nails away and say,
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
But God said, I did forsake you.
Part of what makes the song so powerful, Nelson, is because a lot of songs that we hear around this topic is, from the standpoint, of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But this is from the standpoint of the Father.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And I
Father heart of
think,
God.
yeah, because it is more from the Father heart of God, and it is looking at it through his lens, from his angle,
Yeah.
and which makes complete sense. I see you sitting in that truck and driving the opposite direction and just wanting to do something so badly, but you can't. Like, I can feel the desperation almost of like, I can't imagine. And then you being at home, like, because choking,
It's horrible.
Yeah.
that's horrible.
It's horrible.
It is.
That is super difficult.
Yeah.
So did you keep driving that night? Like, did you keep going?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
You know, we were. It's not like this was an isolated incident, but
Yeah,
that's
that's what-
kind of when the dam broke in my heart, where I went, I just can't do this. You know, he's suffering. You know, if he's gonna die anyway, just let him die.
Just take him home,
Just take
Lord.
him. And she was at home taking care of him, and she was still doing the mother thing, and so this wasn't a part of her yet.
Yeah.
She was just kicked in full gear, just taking care of him, right?
Yes.
And but that's kind of where this was born, you know, with and I started thinking about the fact that God stood up there, and all the courts of heaven were watching. That they watched Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane.
Mm-hmm.
That they watched it all. They watched him willingly say, "Nah, put up your swords." Jesus himself said that he could call down legions of angels.
Mm-hmm.
But God said no. The Father said no. We're going to let him walk through this. They watched the spit. They watched the crown of thorns. They watched the beating. They watched it all. And I just have to think that part of the earthquake and part of the lightning and part of the darkness had to be the fury of God.
Yeah.
Because his heart was so full of this just watching his son.
Yeah.
And just going, oh, this is just awful, and the people don't even know what I'm doing this for.
Yeah.
And he probably looked down through generations, and he goes, oh, they're going to reject this idea.
Yeah. Over and over.
Over and over.
Yeah.
But he went ahead and did it.
He went ahead. Yeah.
And I just have to think that that's part of what that experience was with the sun being blotted out. You know, just everything that happened there. I used to look at that, and I just go, wow, that was quite incredible.
Yeah. Darkness,
earthquake, lightning, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
The veil being rent in two.
Yeah.
The impossibility and probability of that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost an impossibility for that veil to be rent as thick as it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it just split wide open.
Yeah.
And there was significance there.
Absolutely.
But I'm just saying, just the idea of all this happening. And even you know, the veil renting in two.
Yeah.
I believe that God was up there with the Father heart of God, and there was just frustration, and there was just everything built into this whole thing, and he just reaches down and says, no more, and he just slices that thing and says, now man can come directly to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I just, the whole thing just made sense to me that night, and I was rebuked.
Yeah.
You know.
So did you write the song right on the spot, or was it more of an idea that came out over
It
a period
took
of time?
probably about 2 weeks, I would say.
Okay.
But I built it off of the phrase, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's, you know, because that was the epitome of
Yep.
a father's heart just finally breaking and just saying, I can't take it anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So you kept driving. That night passed, as had other nights where you had similar experiences. And then, but even when you're sitting in the truck and, you know, the Lord speaks to you through the Holy Spirit, you have this stuff going on. You know, there was a bit of ministry that happened there, and it probably felt good, but it didn't change anything.
no.
Jordan was still at home,
Yep.
struggling to breathe.
Yep.
Amy was still at home.
Yep.
With 2 little ones plus Jordan, and trying to take care of all this. And that's often, I think, where our struggle comes in. We cry out to God, and, you know, God may meet us, and there is a time of ministry that happens, but the problem still is the same.
Yes.
That was at 6 months, you thought, or somewhere around 6
It
months?
was somewhere there. It might have been a little later than that because we were having a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
He started really declining around 8.5 months probably, and it was just kind of a journey then till he went home. But one thing that I think was so neat, and God met us in a huge way, was the day he died. Nelson was on the truck, and it had come to the point where I said, I just really wish you could be home. And he wanted to be home. And he said, you know what? He called me the one day and he said, I'm gonna park the truck and I'm gonna stay home until God calls him home. And then he called me back a couple hours later and he said, hey, I'm supposed to take one more load to Ohio. And very humanly, I got kind of mad.
Sure.
I said, you told me you're going to be home. I was just feeling it in my heart. This is a big deal.
Yes.
And I didn't want to be by myself when this happened. And then he called back, and bless his boss's heart, he said he'll take the load. And he came home that night, and that next morning about 9 o'clock is when he passed away.
Oh.
And he would not have been home if he would have taken. So that was such a huge God thing. And the other thing that happened is my biggest fear as a mother was, what if I'm sleeping and something happens?
Wow.
And so that was really hard for me, but we did have monitors. He had monitors that if his heart rate did fluctuate dramatically, they would go off. Yeah. But we didn't realize his circulation was getting bad enough, the monitor wasn't working anymore. Yeah. And we woke up and we heard one of the children crying. And so I was like, oh, so I had, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, must be one of them. Well, Jordan didn't cry. Right. That morning he was making enough noise that it woke us up. Oh, wow. Or else we would have probably missed him going home. So we were able to hold him until he went to heaven. Mm-hmm. And that was huge. That was such a blessing to me because he wasn't by himself. Yeah. And Nelson was home. And that was all orchestrated by God because we would not have been able to plan that out. Yeah. So that was huge. There were so many of those little blessings that we look back and are thankful for. Yeah. And just walking the journey, you say, the problems don't go away even if God meets us there. Yeah. And that is something, I was a very fearful person. Okay. I still sometimes struggle with fear. And I had often wondered, what if we would have a child someday? That isn't okay. It was something I thought about. And one thing I did learn through that period of time is God does not help us to worry and fear. But when we are in that situation, he will meet us there. And you know what? It makes the whole journey a total different story. Yeah. When we were living in fear and worrying about what if, that's not where God is. But he meets us in the middle of it and walks with us. So that was a lesson that he did teach me, and I'm still fail at that sometimes, but it's huge. Just the feeling that I had when we walked through that the peace that we had, that I had, was something that I was not prepared. I mean, that was something that I didn't expect, but he was definitely there. Yeah.
I think of Psalm 23, Yeah. Mm-hmm. So powerful. So. And
that was one verse it wasn't in Psalms 23, and I'm missing the reference right now, but I actually copied it off and put it in a picture frame on my windowsill during that time period about how he gently leads those with young, how he cares for those in the middle of their...
We will find it and put it on the screen so our guests can see it. Yeah. So one of the things that... I have just a few more questions for you. One of the things that people ask whenever they're going through these kind of things is this a punishment? Mm-hmm. Did I do something wrong? Is God angry with me? Did you, was that a question that you wrestled with? Did you feel like God was angry with you or punishing you at any time?
This could be a long discussion, but I'm just going to say in a few words, without being negative in my upbringing or anything like that. We were pretty much taught that God is there waiting to whip us and that type of thing. Okay, that would kind of be the kind of religion that I would have grown up with. Sure. And so that's probably where part of this came from, why me, God? What did I do wrong? Yeah. So in my mind, I was going, I've been doing the best I know how. If you want me to do something different, just show me. Yeah. Don't be taking it out on my children. Yeah, sure. And so probably part of that would be that. But I never felt like during that time, I never felt like that he was just angry with me. Mm-hmm.
It was maybe more of a confusion.
More of a confusion as to
Yeah.
why he would do that to me when
Yeah.
I know what my experiences with him were, when I know what, what happened to me as a teenager when I experienced the Holy Spirit and that kind of stuff. Why would he do this to us? But I don't believe. I think every situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
I do think God does use that type of thing sometimes to wake us up.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes He uses that type of thing to bring us to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm careful to say that He does it. He allows it.
Mm-hmm.
We are in a fallen world.
That's right.
And there's going to be sin, there's going to be suffering, and there's going to be death.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very, very hesitant to even put it on that this is what God did.
Mm-hmm.
He allowed it. He brought us through that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, here's what I want you to learn from this experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So during that time, did you encounter people, that would say, Nelson and Amie, God does not want Jordan to be suffering like this. And if you have enough faith, you could pray right now and he would be made well. And if that doesn't happen, then it means that there's something. I mean, basically the Job experience. Like that if that does not happen, then it means that something is not right in your life and you probably have hidden sin, on and on and on, that kind of thing. Like, did you encounter that at all?
I don't think we really did.
Okay.
I wonder if God spared us a little bit of that. To be honest, like he would say, when he talked to you that one time, I don't know if you remember, he would have said he didn't have the faith. And I honestly felt like I thought he could be healed. I honestly thought, we prayed for him. We actually had other people pray for him and thinking, but I don't know. I feel like God met us there too with kind of a thing where if this is what you want us to walk through, if this is your will for his life, if you can use him more in this manner, which I don't understand that to this day.
Exactly.
We won't understand it. But I do feel like we did have a lot of peace through that time with this is our son. We're going to care for him the best we can.
Yeah.
And if God wants to heal him, we're open to it.
Yeah.
But, it was one of those things too where you had people that were very understanding and kind. Like I didn't, and I know not everybody has that.
Yeah, right.
There's some people that walk through some really hard things with that.
So, and I just thought of one more question that I want to ask because I think this is, really important. And you mentioned earlier, that the two of you, processed it differently.
We did.
How did you, stay, like close enough to each other, to be there, for each other, but also give each other enough space to process it in your own way, and in your own timing. Like that's super important, right?
It is.
Did you understand those dynamics at the time?
There was, so she actually hit more of a grieving at his passing then. When he passed away is when her grief started.
Okay.
Because that's why I mentioned a few times she was busy being a mother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was busy watching him suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he died, I was saying, praise God, he's not suffering anymore. Now she's not being a mother to him anymore, and it left a void and a wound in her heart.
Yeah.
I was in this situation, we were able to understand each other a little more.
Yeah.
Because he would have grieved more while he was alive.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense, even from a father's perspective.
Yep.
Like you are fighting for your son,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I wish we had time to talk more about, some of the things that God has done in your life since. But one of the things that I've often admired about you too, is that you have allowed God to use this pain in your life to reach out and minister to others. What year was it that Jordan passed away?
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to mention this here because we might go into another episode here. But in 2015,
That's right.
2015, February, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
It hits me. But you had a beautiful daughter named Bridget.
We did. She was born after Jordan passed away, the next child after he passed.
And, there was a tragic accident that claimed her life. And so anyway, maybe we'll come back and we'll get into a little bit of that. But for now, thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for writing the song, Nelson.
Absolutely.
I'm
Praise
sorry
God.
for your journey,
Yeah.
but thank you for being faithful and for writing the song. And Nelson, you have music out.
I do.
Where can people find your music?
We do have, if people still have CDs, players,
Yep.
we do sell CDs. And my latest album is on just about any music platform that there is out
Streaming.
there. Streaming, yeah.
And what's, so it's under your name, Nelson
Yes.
Miller? And what's the name of the album?
Joy Comes in the Morning.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. So that was just released recently, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last fall.
Half a year ago, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a year
Okay.
ago,
I guess we're still kind of in fall. It was more summer than
maybe.
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully hearing their journey possibly brought some healing into your own life. And check out Nelson's music. You can find it online. And join us for the next episode as we get into the story about their daughter, Bridget. And so God bless your day, and thanks for tuning in.